Hi everyone, this is Kim. You're listening to Unfiltered Wednesdays, the show where we have real unfiltered conversations about navigating big life challenges as a student, a professional, and a human being. Today's episode is about what it looked like to go a lot at once, a new country, a business idea, a startup, and a seat at the table while still figuring out who you are. Rosalind Nhira. Rose is a data science and business major at Warren Wilson College, originally from Zimbabwe. She is the founder of uSwap, a student skills exchange platform launching this fall. So, Rose, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
So, tell me about yourself. Who is Rose and what are you up to right now?
So, like you said, my name is Roslyn, but I go by Rose. I am originally from Zimbabwe. I'm a rising junior, double majoring in data science and business. I go to Warren Wilson College, which is also a work college, meaning students are required to work as part of their degree. So I work on the IT department as a data analyst, but I'm also an entrepreneur. That's where my business degree comes along. I am building a platform called uSwap. It's a student exchange platform for skills and services.
You came here from Zimbabwe, from Zimbabwe to the mountains of North Carolina. How did that happen?
So the journey was a roller coaster. There were a lot of up and downs. A year before I came here, I did not imagine myself or envision myself being here. I did an African youth program called YAS, Young African Scholars Program, and we got to meet admissions counselors from different universities. That was what made me be interested in applying to colleges in the US. And then there was another Zimbabwean student who already went here before me. So I got in touch with him and I started asking him if he applied, what his experience has been, and how I can also apply. So he helped me with that, with like information, and then I started my application. Now it's been 2 years since I've been here.
You have that opportunity to attend some of the event from the US college, and also you have someone that you know. But what really inspire you to study in US and what motivates you?
So in Zimbabwe, the education system is really different, and especially when you're going to college. So when you're going to college, you don't have a voice in what you're going to study. It's based on your results. So like, I was never a fan of that. Of course, your test can tell you like what your strengths are, but it's only the final that they consider. They don't consider the other tests that we have. So if you perform bad, then that means you're not most likely not going to get like the degree or major that you love to study. So when I found out about the liberal arts system in the US, I was a fan of that because at that point, I believe like students will still be young to know exactly what they want to do in their life. So the US offering liberal arts system allowed me to at least explore before I actually declare or commit to one thing.
I think it's the same for my country as well. You have to choose one subject right after your high school, right? You cannot change it, right? So I totally agree with you. Take me back to your first few weeks here and what hit you hardest? What is the most challenging thing that you face?
I am from like a big city. And I'm in the mountains right now. Walking around campus was hard because it's so hilly. You have to go up and down. It was just challenging. But another thing that was challenging was just like the food. I was not used to eating the food that they have here. Most of the things tasted bad for me. Like it was so different. And also like I think pronunciation of words, like he'll be saying things and the person will be like, what's that? What's that? Like that was another thing that I had to adjust to. And also just like, being in a different environment, it's always different. Like you're like learning a new culture, you're studying school, you're trying to figure things out. It's just a lot of things that will be happening at the same time.
Okay. Was there a moment you felt completely out of place and a moment you finally felt like you belong? How does that journey look like?
So I'll share a story. So like right after I came here, we had a hurricane. I had only been here for like less than a month, and then we had the hurricane, and we were stuck at school for like 3 days, and then the school had to close because we did not have water, we did not have power, we did not have service or internet. We had nothing. Uh, so most people, the first thing that they think of is going back home, and as an international student, you don't have that here. So like that was the moment, some of the things that happened that you'd not be expecting because I was just like planning on just like living on campus and then college had to close. So that was like 1 month.
I'm so sorry about your experience.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I would shout out to my school because they were so supportive. They made sure that we were taken care of. And just like my friends, they offered to help. So I got to go to friends' places. I also managed to meet my uncle. I realized that I had an uncle in the US, so I'd never met him before. So it was nice to actually meet him. I got to stay with him and also meet my cousins. It was a blessing in disguise.
Yes, totally agree. So you mentioned about your challenges. This is a big one, right? That you didn't prepare for that. And there's a lot about uh the accommodation, the travel, the food and everything. So how did you really
Yeah.
figure things out? And secondly, how did you find your community here and what helped you?
Um, so I am always grateful for my school because they have an amazing support system for international students. So before I started school, they had pre-orientation for international students. So I got to meet other international students before I got to meet like the rest of the other students. So that really helped because we came a little bit earlier than other returning and new students, and then we got to explore the surrounding area, like where I'm in Asheville, North Carolina. So we got like to experience the downtown, explore restaurants, explore different places. So I already had that community. And then we had orientation with like the first year students. So I got to like meet other people there as well. So it was very easy for me to like make a community. And also right now there are 5 Zimbabwean students. So I get to speak my language with them, which is great. And we also cook food from home, which is amazing.
I'm happy for you. Finally, you have someone that you can share your food, and I know how this is important. Yeah. Mhm. Okay, let's talk about the business that you have started. That was very inspiring. Can you give me what is uSwap and what is this and who is this for?
Okay. So uSwap is a digital platform designed for students to exchange skills and services without money. So at my school, we have like this group chat on GChat that has like all the students. And most students are always asking for help. Like, hey, can I borrow this? Can I borrow a broom? Anyone to offer me a ride? I need help with my math, homework or something like that. But most of the times, those messages get lost in the group chat because there's a lot of people talking about other things and there's just no organization. And my school being a work college, there are a lot of experienced people and like there are a lot of services that are expensive in the US, like fixing your car. I realized that there are students who can actually do that. So I decided to build uSwap so that it can be a platform to connect those students. Instead of going to do your hair elsewhere and pay hundreds of dollars, you can always just go to the student next to you and say, hey, can you do my hair? I can help you with your math homework. So that's how it works. But in cases where I can say, okay, Kim, I can help you with math, but I don't need anything from you. I can help you. And points, those points become my currency. And then when I need something else, I can just use those points instead of like doing direct exchange. So that is just like how the system work. And right now, it's launching this fall on August 28th officially at Royal Wilson College. We are hoping that it goes well during this fall and then later on we'll start expanding to other colleges. So it is for college students, but we are very ambitious. So it could be open to anyone excellent ones.
Mhm. First of all, congratulations for
Thanks.
this almost here. I'm so excited about the product. So what I understand is this is not just about me asking for help. So it has to be like two-way. So I ask you for help, and then whenever you need something, I also need to give it back, right? Is this the idea of that? Do you have any reason why it's happened to be in that way?
Yeah, so I went to a boarding school when I was about 10 years old, and boarding school was hard in Zimbabwe. It taught me a lot of life skills, and it was very strict. We did not have any phones. We did not have access to our parents. We do not even have like a proper like grocery store on like on campus on school. So
Yes.
like sometimes you'd run out of stuff that you need, like the basics. Sometimes you'd run out of shoe polish. Sometimes you'd run out of toothpaste, sometimes bathing soap, or even like books. Sometimes you'd run out of that, and it's the middle of the night. You need to do your homework the next day. So it was a system that was there. We would just like swap skills, and we would not look at the value. Sometimes we would actually swap food. Like I used to bring like a lot of snacks, like this specific brand, and I would get tired of it by the like up when we are halfway into the school year. So like I would start like exchanging with some of my peers. You can give me a drink and I can give you like potato chips. So that's how we survived. And it was a great system that worked, but it was informal.
Wow, I really love that idea. So now you have the school and you have your startup and you are also working at a campus job. You are also in the board of trustees. And at the same time, you are making content on YouTube, so many different things. So how does one person hold all of that?
Honestly, this is something that my professor made me realize that I did not think of. Like, if you want to get things done, find the busiest person in the room. Then your things will get done for some reason. Like I find myself to be more productive when I have a lot. Not that I'm a fan of having a lot of things, but I'm a person who's very curious about different things, and I'm not gonna let what I'm doing stop me from trying something new. So in most cases, I find myself like sometimes when I just finish a class and I just learn something new, I get to actually try it in real life at work. So that's really motivating. And also, I just love creating content. Like, I'm doing the things anyway, so I just record myself.
What will be your advice to someone who feels like a lot on their plate and they don't know where to start? I know that what you are doing is what you love, but how do you really prioritize things and get things done?
I would say, like, if you feel like it's a lot of work, if you're feeling overwhelmed, take care of yourself first. Your mental health is very important. And also be, like me first. Like, you have life. You don't have to wear multiple hats if you feel like it's a lot. But you can use tools such as Google Calendar, like scheduling tools to just, I have a notebook. I like writing for some reason. I feel like when things are too stuck, then just, I like writing things down. So like when I write things down, I will know that I will be happy when I put a check mark at the end of the day when that thing is just a satisfying feeling. So like find something that you know like is motivating to you. Just don't do things for the sake of doing them. Also find something that you're passionate about, because why do it if you don't even need to do it? And also one thing that I've realized, like don't try to be impressing everyone. When somebody comes and say, hey, can you do this? You say yes. If you feel like it's not doable, if it's not in your capacity to do it, always say no. Put yourself first, right? Have your own priorities. Because I do YouTube, but it's not my first priority. I know what my priorities are as well. So that helps.
I also do sometimes. I really love checking things out from your to-do list. So you mentioned about mental health. I want to follow up on that. So you have a visa, you have a distance being far from your support system, your family. How do you really manage everything? Are there any time that you feel lost or maybe tired, or at that point, how do you get things back together and manage your mental health?
Yeah, honestly, it's not easy. I try to call my family every other day. It's hard because of the time differences as well. So I have like this thing where I say I skip one day. Like if I call them on Monday, I'll skip Tuesday. And that'll be during lunch times because they will just have finished work, they'll be eating dinner, and that's when I'm free. So I know that every lunch I am calling my family on WhatsApp, like video calling them. That really helps me keep in touch with them and like check on how they're doing and also then to check on how I'm doing. But also like there are other resources. My school is a counseling center that I sometimes go to just like to talk to. It's not like therapy, but if you need therapy, that's also available. We have advisors, we have international student counselors. And also I have like very supportive friends. And like I mentioned before, there are 5 Zimbabweans here. So
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm like, I really don't want to speak in English, I just go to them and we just talk. So like, they're like my brothers and sisters at this point. So, and they're like my family here. Yeah, we hang out a lot. So that really helps.
I'm glad that you are really utilizing all of the resources that you have, and at the same time connecting with your family back home and making friends more. Are there anything that you learned staying in US or something that changed what you think in the past?
I would say like just being curious and not hesitate. I'm a curious person, but I was always hesitant, not being willing to try or speak up or like, I don't know how to put it in words, but I would say I am now more like, if I need something, I just tell myself this, like I boss myself or however you may want to call it. If I put my mind to something, it's going to happen. That's my
Mm,
way of like just doing things. So, and everything is possible until you make it impossible. Because 2 years ago, I thought I was kind of hesitant. And sometimes like there was this feeling of like not fully belonging that
mhm.
would drag me down. You know, like, when there's certain things that I could have done, but I'm like, oh, but I don't really belong. I don't really feel like I'll belong in this space. Now I just go for it. Like, yeah, it
Yeah.
was just a cultural difference. Like, if I speak in front of these Americans, are they gonna take me serious? You know, that type of
Mhm.
thing. But now I'm a changed person. I've grown in so many ways. Yeah.
Mhm. Thank you for sharing that. I know this take a lot of courage to sharing something like that. But if you are okay with that, I also ask a little more on that context. Are there any time that you feel like imposter syndrome, and how did you really overcome that?
I would say there are sometimes there were certain experiences that people experienced, I guess, when they were younger that I did not get to experience. Like, there were certain things, you know, kids here in America and kids that are growing back in Zimbabwe, they're living 2 different lives. Kids here like are more privileged if you're looking from like a Zimbabwean lens. You know, so like there was sometimes that people would share certain stories and they cannot relate to it. Or I realized it's okay. I thought I was dumb, honestly, like not necessarily growing up experiences, but there's certain words or things that I say differently that I would put pressure on myself and say, how come I don't know about this? Like, you know, people here say restroom, bathroom, and back in Zimbabwe, we say toilet. And people here say, oh, I'm gonna go look at the trunk. And Zam would say, boots, you know, like there's so many instances when I would say something and people would look at me like, what was that? You know, like, so there was many moments where I said certain words that they didn't understand and they just feel like, oh, I'm supposed to make it. But I realized, no, that's not how it works. Learned to embrace my culture because it makes me different, you know?
Wow, I love that.
And yeah, I realized that it's actually nice to share your own experience to be different from everyone. Don't be like everyone else. I actually got to learn that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to use it to my advantage. So every time I speak, I'm like, I'm from Zimbabwe. We do things this way. And yeah, it's good for people to know that things are different elsewhere. And to not feel like if you are coming from elsewhere, you're an imposter. You're actually a diamond. You're gold. You're unique. You're rare. You're different.
But I really love the way that you use it. Sometimes we feel so small. You don't know what they are talking about, not because you don't understand the English, but because you just don't get the context. And when people talk about the culture thing, the sport, and different movies,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
definitely can relate into that. If I am not right, you also mentioned you are a first generation student, right?
Yes.
So as a first generation student, what does your journey look like?
I have a little sister, so I feel like I know I'm a role model. Yeah, so I do things for her, and it makes me feel proud to know that like I do not let my background or like my parents' education determine like who I'm gonna be. It's just a nice feeling to just be the first to like go through this process. And I'm grateful for also like my parents for supporting me through this. Yeah, it feels sometimes you can feel like, oh, it's a lot. Like they have some high expectations, so you cannot really mess up. But trust me, it's okay to make mistakes. Don't you can only grow if you fail.
Yeah.
You can only rise if you fall.
Mhm. I love that. To wrap up our conversation, what would be one thing you want our listeners to walk away with?
Um, do not doubt yourself. Like keep it in God. Like no matter what, nothing is impossible. If there is no road, make one for yourself. There's always a way.
Thank you so much for that encouragement, Rose. Uh, what really struck me most about the story isn't just about going to class, enjoying college life in US and getting good grades, but it's that you are building something where while still figuring out who you are underneath all of it. And you are still an intentional student, still learning what to hold on to and what to let go of and still becoming. If a moment in this conversation hit with you, share this episode with one person you need to hear it. That's how a story travel one person at a time. And if you are in the middle of figuring it out right now, Shanko is offering 2 free coaching sessions. Just real support from someone who has been where you are. Head to Shanko and take that first step. Follow us on Instagram at shine.co and subscribe on YouTube so you never miss a story. This is Unfiltered Wednesdays. And remember, you do not have to figure this out alone. We'll see you in next 2 weeks.